The global aviation market has long been a two-horse race, dominated by Boeing and Airbus. For decades, they've set the standard, shaped airline fleets, and defined what passengers expect from modern air travel. But quietly, Russia is stepping into the ring with something that could shake the status quo: the MC-21. This isn't just another airplane, it's Moscow's statement. We can compete, even under pressure. The MC-21 is Russia's attempt to reclaim independence in aviation, to prove that decades of reliance on Western technology aren't a permanent limitation. But why does this matter now? In 2022, sweeping Western sanctions hit Russian industries hard, restricting access to aircraft parts, engines, and key technologies. Suddenly, the stakes became higher than ever. Russia needed a homegrown solution, not just to keep its airlines flying, but to show the world it can innovate under pressure. In this story, we'll explore why the MC-21 was created, how it stacks up against the giants of the West, and the hurdles Russia must overcome to make its mark in global aviation. By the end, you'll see whether the MC-21 is a true contender or a bold experiment in resilience. To understand the MC-21, we need to go back to a time when Russia's aviation industry was heavily dependent on the West. Even planes built in Russia relied on foreign engines, avionics, and critical components. This dependency meant that political tensions or sanctions could ground entire fleets, a vulnerability Moscow couldn't ignore. The turning point came in 2022 when Western sanctions made it nearly impossible for Russia to access key aircraft parts and technologies. Overnight, the country faced a stark choice: continue relying on foreign suppliers or take matters into its own hands. The solution was clear: develop a fully domestic, modern airliner capable of competing with Boeing and Airbus. But this wasn't a sudden idea. Russia had been laying the groundwork for years. Back in 2007, the Yakovlev Design Bureau, part of the state-owned Rostec Aviation Group, began working on a next-generation narrow-body aircraft to replace aging Tupolev models. Initially called the Yak-2-42, the project evolved over time, receiving domestic certification in 2016 and rebranding internationally as the MC-21. This aircraft represents more than just a plane. It embodies a long-term strategy: independence from Western technology, building domestic expertise, and ensuring that Russia can maintain and grow its aviation industry, no matter what geopolitical storms come its way. The MC-21 is the product of persistence, vision, and necessity. Now that we understand why Russia built the MC-21, let's look at what makes this aircraft a serious contender in the skies. The MC-21 comes in two main versions. The smaller MC-21-200 can carry between 132 and 165 passengers, putting it in competition with the Airbus A320neo and the Boeing 737 MAX 7. The larger MC-21-300 holds 163 to 211 passengers, aiming squarely at the Airbus A320 and Boeing 737 MAX 9 markets. One of the standout features of the MC-21 is its advanced wing design. These wings use out-of-autoclave composite manufacturing, a technique that allows the wings to be both lighter and stronger than traditional aluminum designs. By 2021, Russia upgraded these wings with domestically produced polymer composites, reducing weight while maintaining structural strength. In practical terms, this means better fuel efficiency and lower operating costs, which airlines love. Engines are another critical piece of the puzzle. Originally, the MC-21 was designed to use Pratt & Whitney GTF engines, but sanctions cut off access to these Western engines. The solution? Russia developed its own PD-14 turbofan, fully domestic, certified in 2020. This was not just a workaround, it's a technological statement showing Russia can innovate when pushed. Experts believe the MC-21 could rival, and in some cases surpass, the Boeing 737 MAX. Lightweight composite wings, efficient engines, and a modern aerodynamic design give it performance and fuel efficiency advantages. In short, the MC-21 isn't just catching up, It's trying to set a new standard in its segment. Beyond technology, airlines make decisions based on two key factors: cost and passenger experience. This is where the MC-21 could really stand out. First, let's talk price. The MC-21-300 has a list price around $91 million, significantly lower than the Boeing 737 MAX 9, which sits near $130 million. But it gets more interesting. Russian airlines can reportedly acquire the aircraft for as little as $37 million. That's a huge advantage for carriers looking to modernize fleets without breaking the bank. Lower purchase prices also mean airlines can recover their investment faster and offer more competitive ticket prices to passengers. Passenger comfort is another area where the MC-21 shines. Its cabin is wider than the 737 MAX 9, providing more space per seat. Passengers notice this difference, especially on short to medium-haul flights, making the journey more comfortable. For airlines, this can influence seating arrangements and customer satisfaction, potentially giving them a marketing edge. When we compare performance, the MC-21-300 matches the 737 MAX 9 in range, roughly 3,200 to 3,300 nautical miles, while slightly trailing in maximum passenger capacity. But combined with lower costs and a more spacious cabin, it presents a strong value proposition. Essentially, it's a plane designed not just to fly, but to make sense for airlines' bottom lines and passengers' comfort. A rare combination in modern aviation. Even with advanced design and attractive pricing, the MC-21 faces serious challenges that could limit its success on the global stage. One of the biggest hurdles is parts and components. Due to Western sanctions, Russian airlines struggle to maintain existing fleets. Replacement parts for foreign aircraft are scarce, forcing some carriers to cannibalize inactive planes just to keep others flying. Russia has tried workarounds, importing components through countries like Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and Tajikistan, but these solutions are costly, legally murky, and often unreliable. Another major challenge is certification and acceptance. Western airlines and regulators remain cautious. In March 2022, the MC-21 was denied European certification, a status that hasn't changed. Without this approval, the aircraft cannot operate in most Western airspace, significantly limiting its international market. Airlines outside Russia may hesitate to adopt it due to safety concerns and geopolitical risks. Finally, there's the question of operational range and reliability. While the MC-21 is ideal for domestic and regional routes, its current range restricts transcontinental travel. Speculated future variants like the MC-21-400 could address this, but until then, its global reach remains limited. These obstacles create tension in the story of the MC-21. Can Russia overcome sanctions, certification issues, and technical limitations to compete globally? The answer isn't simple, and it's what makes this aircraft's journey so compelling. The MC-21 isn't just about planes, it's a strategic tool for Russia's aviation industry and national ambitions. By developing a modern aircraft domestically, Russia is reducing its reliance on Western technology and strengthening self-sufficiency. This is crucial in an era where sanctions and geopolitical tensions can disrupt access to engines, avionics, and other critical components. The project has also sparked innovation within Russia. Advanced composite wings, new manufacturing techniques, and the development of the PD-14 engine have all pushed domestic research and development forward. Local suppliers and engineers gain expertise that can ripple across the aviation industry, building a stronger ecosystem for future aircraft programs. Economically and politically, the MC-21 sends a signal. Russia can maintain influence in the global aviation market despite restrictions. For domestic airlines, it provides a homegrown option that supports local industry and ensures operational continuity. Internationally, even if adoption is limited, the aircraft represents resilience and technological ambition. a statement that Russia is determined to compete and innovate on its own terms. The MC-21, therefore, is far more than a commercial plane. It's a symbol of industrial independence, national pride, and long-term strategic planning. With technology, cost, and strategy in place, the next question is, where does the MC-21 actually fit in the global market? Domestically, it's already making waves. Over 300 orders have been placed, mostly by Russian airlines, with Aeroflot leading the charge. In 2022, Aeroflot ordered 210 MC-21s as part of a broader fleet expansion that also included models like the SSJ-100 and Tupolev Tu-214, signaling a major commitment to modernizing Russia's aviation infrastructure. Globally, the MC-21 faces limitations. Russian-registered aircraft are currently banned from most Western airspace due to geopolitical tensions. However, they can operate over roughly 60% of the world's landmass, including Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Africa. This gives Russia's airlines an opportunity to replace aging Boeing and Airbus planes in markets where Western restrictions are less impactful. Looking ahead, the speculated MC-21-400 variant could expand range and passenger capacity, potentially allowing transcontinental flights. If realized, this would position the aircraft for direct competition with long-range models from Airbus and Boeing, opening the door to new international markets. The question for viewers is simple. Where do you see the MC-21 finding its niche? Will it remain a strong domestic workhorse, or could it eventually become a recognized player in international aviation? The aircraft's future depends on overcoming current hurdles and proving itself in both operational performance and reliability. The story of the MC-21 is one of ambition, innovation, and resilience. From its origins in the Yakovlev Design Bureau to the challenges posed by sanctions and certification barriers, this aircraft embodies Russia's determination to carve out a space in the modern aviation world. It's not just about competing with Boeing and Airbus. It's about proving that a country can innovate under pressure, develop cutting-edge technology, and maintain independence in a high-stakes industry. For Russian airlines, the MC-21 offers affordability, efficiency, and passenger comfort. For the global market, it's a symbol of how politics, technology, and strategy intersect in aviation. Its success or struggle will ripple through airlines, supply chains, and even international relations. Now, the future is in your hands, or at least your thoughts. Which aircraft do you think has the edge? The MC-21 or the Boeing 737 MAX? Will the MC-21 overcome its challenges and secure a spot on international runways, or remain a regional powerhouse? Share your views in the comments below. We want to hear what you think. As the skies change and aviation evolves, one thing is clear. The MC-21 is more than a plane. It's a statement. And for those watching closely, it's a story of innovation, strategy, and ambition unfolding in real time.